hear it, like, I get it, like, I be laughing too, but, like, I do think they go through some things, like, when is a good time for them to talk about it? Maybe not Black History Month, but, like, you know, like, can we make space for biracial stories? Or
my mom's mom had a Jamaican accent. I don't want to sit here and be like, rice and peas. I don't want that to be the reason you...
I've seen a lot of conversations about when biracials should or could talk about their experience. Biracials, quadroons, there's been a lot of discourse around lately. And, you know, some of the comments are like, the work needs to be internal, blah, blah, blah. And can we give them a safe space? My personal take from my experience is that it is, yes, there's internal work to be done, but it's not something that you can do internally, because for me anyways, the contention point of like the mixedness and the biracialness is about you being unsure about how other people are perceiving you, and you thinking that there is an answer, and you thinking that there is a one and done, completely solved answer to this question that you first had questions about because other people had questions about it. It's not really, for me, it was very much an outside coming in experience. Like, I am seeing all these different people's opinions and hearing them, like, you get in the Uber and they say whatever they say. And so it starts to become like a conflict in your mind. You're like, oh, maybe I should settle this? Like, I feel like this is unsettled. I feel like I should settle this. And then if you say something about it on the internet and it is received with a, we don't give a fuck, shut up. As much as that's not a safe space, I personally think it's an informative space. It's a canon event because you realize there isn't an answer and nobody fucking cares. So shut the fuck up about it. And that is freeing. That is freeing because, and again, that's why I'm saying I don't think it's an internal thing. I actually completely for me, it was very much an external thing. It was very much a me in relation, especially because, you know, I went to college in LA, and the way my race was perceived there, way more people would tell me, well, you're black. Like, I consider you black. You know, they would, whatever their reasons would be that they would consider. In Canada, people are way more interested in your heritage. And they say, like, if I say I'm mixed, they're like, okay, with what? If you say black and white, they're like, okay, but where? Do you know what I mean? So it became like a point of observation more than anything else. But once I realized that there wasn't something I was doing wrong. There wasn't something that I needed to solve. There wasn't like a one and done, like, this is the end all be all. This is what I had to figure out and dig towards. Because there is a point, I think maybe in like your young adulthood, it depends, because when you grow up in a PWI, your perception of yourself is going to be very different than when you go to a college in LA that's maybe has a few more black people, maybe it's still a PWI, and then if you go back to Toronto and then you live downtown, and then it's different in every space. And getting that information of, like, I think the internet is the only place where people actually like kind of get a little bit more, hey, please shut the fuck up, we fucking hate you. And that is informative. It may not feel like a safe space, but it's a space you fucking need. It's a canon event, because you need to realize nobody gives a shit. And then you just move on, and it becomes no longer a point of contention. And it becomes no longer like this question of identity and blah, blah, blah. You're like, oh, it just is a thing. And it becomes not as big of a fucking deal. So I personally think that when you're going to go as a biracial, if you're going to go do your big one, your big too white for the black, whatever the fuck. Or honestly, I think that's pretty tired. Like, I think a lot of the conversations aren't just that. But I know the conversation can be like, why are the quadroons making slam poetry about it still? Fair enough. Like, and if it's funny, you can laugh. You know what I mean? And I personally think that sometimes you need people to like really just tell you to fuck off and tell you they don't care and it doesn't matter, for you to free yourself from that, like, almost hamster wheel of, oh my God, there's not one box to check for me. Like, how fucking sad. And then you kind of just get over it and you're like, okay, it no longer becomes such a point of contention and like unresolve. Is that a word? Unresolve? Anyway.